This is a crazy non-hand call in the sense of, from what I remember, a pretty egregious type of ruling. So let's go here to Tom. Hello, Tom. You're up next, sir.
Hi, Bart. Yeah, thanks for having me.
How's it going, Tom? So where are you playing out of, Tom?
Well, for this hand, I was playing out of Hollywood, Aurora, Illinois. So it's a western suburb of Chicago. Although that's not where I live, and I don't normally play there.
You know where I know where Aurora, Illinois? Anyone? Pop culture, late 80s, early 1990s? Wayne's World, right? Weren't they from Aurora? I don't know if you know that.
I would not know.
Really? Saturday Night Live? Dana Carvey? Mike Myers? Anyways, all right. So Aurora, Illinois, what's the name? What's the brand of the casino again?
It's a Hollywood.
Hollywood. Okay. So Hollywood, you're not a regular around here. You're traveling. Okay. And what's the size of the game?
This is a 1-3, 500 cap, no match the stack.
Okay. All right. So tell us what happened here. You can run through the hand here too, real quick.
Yeah, I'll run through the hand,
Yeah.
and certainly we can talk about the hand as well. On
Sure.
So for this hand, just to kind of set it up, I had been at the table for probably less than an hour, not that long, nine-handed.
Yep.
And so when this hand played out, there was a couple limpers from early position, and then the hijack raised to 25. And the hijack was probably one of the more active players that I had seen in my limited time at the table there. He had been probably involved in more hands and raising more than most players at the table. So
Okay. So couple early position limpers. Hijack raised 25. And where are you?
I'm in the cutoff,
Okay.
and I have Jack of Hearts and Jack of Spades.
Okay. Jack of Hearts, Jack of Spades. By the way, how deep are you? But how much effective?
475.
Okay.
And the villain here had me slightly covered.
So 2 EP limps, hijack raises 25 here on the cutoff with Jack, and you 3-bet?
I 3-bet to $100.
All right. So hero 3-bets to 100. Okay.
It folds back around to the hijack, and he calls.
So hijack calls. All right. So your head's up in position with Jack of Hearts, Jack of Spades. Okay.
So, in my mind, obviously I can have anything here. I could have the aces, kings, any pair. I could have ace, king. In my mind, he can't have aces. He can't have kings, or he shouldn't.
Because he would be 4-betting pre.
Right. I think he would be 4-betting those. So, I put his hand as queens on down as far as pairs, or maybe ace, king.
Okay. So what's the flop?
The flop is Jack of clubs, 6 of clubs, deuce of hearts.
So you flop top set.
I flop top set.
Okay. So does the hijack check?
He does check. If we were deeper, I probably would have played this different. But what I chose to do here was I checked.
Hero checks behind. I mean, it's not that crazy a play to check behind here at the stack depth, because you guys only started 470. I mean, you only have 375, right? You only have 2 SPRs.
That was exactly my thinking. My thinking was, if he doesn't have anything, I want to give him a chance to catch up a little.
The only thing I will say, as I commonly say, I seem like I say, and I say it a lot in my own play too, anytime I'm in this type of situation, when I'm at the small stakes and I want to slow play, I just usually bet small. I just usually bet small, and it accomplishes the exact same thing, get more money. And so if it were me, I probably would have bet like something like $50. You're still going to get the calls from any pair. You're still going to get the calls from overcards if you bet kind of small. To have some checkbacks with very, very strong hands is actually inherently balanced. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I'm just telling you, like, the smaller stakes I go, the more I just bet. And I just sort of, like, my slow play is just betting small. But it goes check, check. Okay, so now the pot's still 205. All right, so what's the turn here?
The turn is the 9 of clubs.
All right, so turns the 9 of clubs, Jack of clubs, 6 of clubs, deuce of hearts, turns the 9 of clubs. So now there's 3 clubs out there.
Right.
And board's starting to get connected. Okay.
I don't love the 3rd club, although I don't really put him on a flush.
Right.
He checks again.
Okay.
But this time I think I'm going to bet, and I choose to bet larger because I feel like my hand needs a little bit more protection. He could easily have ace king with a club or any high club. So I don't want to let him draw to a flush cheaply. So I bet 175.
So you bet 175 with about 375 left in your stack. If he makes the call, the pot will be like something like 555, and you're going to leave about 200 left. Okay. Again, this is not okay. So you bet sort of the larger size. You bet 175. He calls again, right?
He does call. When he calls, this is where the hand starts to kind of get weird. When he calls, he announces that he's checking dark.
He calls and he says, I check dark before the river comes out, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right. So before the river comes out. Okay. All right. So now what's the river?
And then the river is a 3 of clubs.
Oh, that sucks for you. That sucks for you, right? It's not what you want to see, right?
Now, I don't take too much time to think about this, but I do think about, do I shove to represent that I had the big club? And
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I think that you beat every other hand literally except for a club, with the exception of, I know, 4-5. That's not going to be represented, but you have so much showdown value against non-flushes. You don't need to do that with this hand. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's too good.
With only 200 left and
Yeah.
550 in the pot, there's not enough to really
Exactly.
push out much.
Right. So you check back, I assume.
So I checked back.
Okay. And
As soon as I checked back, he announces that he wants to bet.
he announces that he wants to bet, but he checked blind.
Correct. And he acknowledged. I mean, when he said, I want to bet, he said, I know I checked blind, but I want to bet.
Okay.
And I was just waiting for the dealer to tell him, no, he can't.
Right.
But the dealer said, okay.
What?
And let him do it.
What do you mean the dealer said okay? What?
Yes. And he let him shove all in.
Wait a minute. So I hope that you called the floor guy over.
Well, first I clarified with the dealer. I said he announced that he checked dark.
Right.
And the dealer told me that the river card coming out changed the action.
That the river card coming out changed the action. The river card coming out changed the action. I have literally, I'm looking perplexed, but I'm trying to look surprised, but I was so not outraged, but I have literally never heard that ever. And I've played a lot of poker over the last 15, 20 years here, Tom. So whenever I get into a situation where I've never heard anything like this, I go to my floor man buddy, who's now one of the GMs at TCH, Alan, and I texted him this because I wanted to know if I was somehow missing something. If it was possible that if someone checked blind before the card came out, that it was somehow not binding. That actually, like, it had to do with when they checked blind, before or after. But how does somebody check blind after the card comes out anyways? It's always before the card comes out, right? If you're checking blind. So I asked him, and he said that he would have a hard time justifying what the floor did. Action changing is defined by a bet or a raise, not a card. He said that I'm making his check dark binding. I don't understand what.
Well, and I agree with you. I mean, at that point, I just challenged the dealer about the decision. And when the dealer told me that river card coming out changed the action, I didn't agree with that. And I did call for the floor.
Right.
I thought maybe this was just a new dealer that, didn't really know what they were doing. Maybe had not encountered that situation. So I called for the floor, and the floor came over and made the same ruling that the dealer
So what did the floor say?
said the same thing, that the river card coming out changed the action and that the hijack could bet if he wanted to.
That is, I mean, that is so crazy. I've never heard anything like that. And I do wonder sometimes, like, if that is a rule that is somehow, because remember, in a cash game, all these places can have different rules, right? TDA rules are somewhat standard. In a cash game, you can run into rooms with different rules, right? Now, the thing is that I wonder if this guy is somehow like a reg, and this is a very unique rule to this particular room. Maybe somebody from Aurora, this card room in Aurora, Illinois, can comment. And that, I mean, the most logical type of situation might be that this is somehow some weird rule that's unique to that casino. And this guy is somehow like a reg that knows how to exploit that rule, which in that case, yes, this would be a huge angle I don't use that term lightly. We've talked about angles in the past. That's insane. How can a guy check blind and then decide that he wants to bet after the guy checks blind? The more I think about it, the more insane this is. I would be livid at the table, at the floor guy.
And I was, and now I have to make a decision on my remaining stack, and obviously, I beat everything other than the flush. And for 200 into a 550 pot, I called it off.
Really? Because I was going to say, I don't think this is another part of this too, and this is not the main part of the call. First of all, I would be so flustered right now. Again, even before getting to my decision here, Tom, I'll go through the things that I would do once again, as I've said in these calls before. I would ask for the floor guy. I would ask for a supervisor. I would tell the floor guy if he doesn't call a supervisor, or if no supervisor is available, this is what I would say to him. I said, your ruling is so bad. And then, first of all, I would ask, so let's just say, let's cut it right here and say, okay, so the floor guy rules against you. I would then say, I want to talk to a supervisor. The guy said, there's no supervisor. I'm the last person that I'm making the decision. I would say, is there some specific rule here in this room that makes checking blind non-binding? If he said no, I would then tell him, if he does not get somebody higher to make this decision, I will be going to somebody higher, even if it is the final act, and I'm going to be making a big stink about it, including calling Bart Hansen on the Crush Live call-in show. I'm serious. Or, I mean, if I did it, I would say, I'll put this on my own show, dude, because I know you're wrong. Now, did you ask for a supervisor?
No, I did not. I called the floor, and I didn't see anyone else in the room. There was no one else up at the front desk. So I did not go as far as what you just described of asking for someone higher.
Sometimes you got to do that though, man. Sometimes you got to do that because it's like I said, every time we get into these situations, it's still flabbergasting to me. I wonder if the floor guy didn't actually know what happened. Like if did the dealer convey to him what actually happened?
The dealer conveyed to him. I conveyed to him, and even the hijack player did not try to say that he didn't check dark. He stated, I checked dark, but I changed my mind. I want to bet. I mean, the whole thing was just very weird to me. And it just felt like when I was trying to make my decision about do I call or not, I felt like I was just being angled to the point where he could try to pull that off with a bluff with nothing.
Now, let me ask you one last question, though, before we get to your decision. Did you tell him what you had when he checked behind?
No.
So you just checked?
I just checked.
Then it has to be a fold then. It has to be. He doesn't know that you don't have a club, right?
No, he does not know what I have at all.
I would. There's no way in the world I'm calling here. I mean, at 200 into 550, you could be checking back with tens with a 10 of clubs here, right?
Who, I could be?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the fact that he's betting here.
I could have a club.
Of course. So he doesn't know that you're not going to call, right? He just knows that you check behind. Now, if you had like turned your cards face up and there was Jack, no club, then maybe we could get into a discussion about whether or not like he's trying to play you to like bluff you off. I still probably wouldn't call, but the fact that he doesn't know your hand, there's no way I'm ever calling here. So I have to move this along, but you did call.
I did call.
Okay.
I viewed it as he could easily be trying to bluff me there, knowing that I was going to check behind. So I called, and he tabled pocket fives with the 5 of clubs.
Well, you know what's funny about that? It's insanity that he bet that like that. Because again, you could still have a club. That would make sense if he knew what you had, right? Like if he knew that you had jacks, no club, then he could just do that. But he doesn't know what you had, right?
Well, he doesn't know. He did not know what I had.
Wow.
But he was probably trying to bluff with
maybe
a club in his hand.
Maybe. The thing about this, Tom, and then I got to go, is that we've had a good streak of like positive resolutions on the show where something like this has happened that's so egregious that it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know how big Aurora, Illinois is, but it wouldn't surprise me Well, you say you're an out of town guy though, right? You're an out of town guy. Okay. I was gonna say, like, if you were regular in the game, it wouldn't surprise me if somehow like this they would make this right. I don't know how they're gonna necessarily contact you if you're a guy, from out of town, but I just this is one of the most outrageous rulings I've ever heard of.
And for what it's worth, I've never returned to that room since then.
Yeah, that is amazing. Tom, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, that is absolutely insane.